Hello students, and happy almost Valentine's Day. I know many of you out there are being supported probably by family, mom or dad, aunt or uncle, grandma, grandpa. Bottom line is that someone out there is helping you be here. Take Valentine's Day to give them a call or text them and just say thank you, or just let them know what you're doing. As someone who happens to be decades older than you, I can tell you how awesome they will feel if you do reach out to them. All right, so let's talk about some big deadlines that are coming up. That Hispanic Scholarship Foundation opportunity closes on the 15th, and also the Night Shadow program. It closes on the 15th as well. I've had a lot of traffic in my office hours, which is wonderful. You just don't know how much I'm enjoying meeting all of you. We have incredible freshmen. That's all I can say. But the people that I've talked to, I can tell that a lot of you feel you're not going to be getting that internship, and it's okay. You know, one of the things I want to express to everybody is that each week we're going to throw out all these different opportunities. You do not have to do everything. We are just letting you know what's out there, and it's up to you to kind of pick and choose and select. The last thing I want is for any of you to start feeling stressed that you're behind or you're not doing enough. Never forget, grades are the most important, right? I know we present a lot of things, the TAs, myself, the GTAs, but the grades are the most important thing. So keep focusing on your GPA and your grades and your coursework. And then take time to just sit back and say, wow, I can do this, this, or this, and don't overburden yourself, all right? Do not feel pressured to do all of these things and opportunities that we're showing to you. With that being said, again, take the pressure off yourself about getting an internship in the summer and take advantage of Night Shadow. The 17th and the 18th, which again are during spring break, it's a wonderful, low stress opportunity to learn about a company, to meet people in that company, and potentially get your foot in the door in the future. All right, so do want to encourage you to consider Night Shadow as one of the things that you do get involved in. Big news, the flyers, you've probably seen them around campus or received emails, but the Career and Internship Expo is happening on March 10th, and it will run from 12:30 until 4:30. I want to let you know that I'll be posting all kinds of different informational flyers for you in your lecture web course, because if you attend, for example, one or two of the the professional development, career preparedness workshops that are offered by the Career Services and Experiential Learning offices, you can get what's called a Fast Pass for the expo. And that's great because you get to kind of step in front of the line a little bit, and that line can get very long. I just want you to be aware, check the lecture web course, all right? That's where I'm going to kind of keep you updated with all these different reminders of things that are happening for you. All right, it's time to move forward with our main lecture today. We're going to talk about the elevator pitch that I'm wanting you to prepare in case you want to go to that career fair. And we'll also talk a little bit about LinkedIn. Hello students, and happy Friday. Today we are going to discuss the second assignment associated with our work integrated learning opportunities. Again, that work integrated learning or WIL program is being conducted as a pilot program here within the College of Engineering and Computer Science, just trying to infuse professional development and career education starting from your freshman year and going on through your senior year. So you all will be experiencing these WIL learning assessments and whatnot from your freshman year all the way through. You are our pilot program. So today I'm just going to talk briefly about VMOC because I really want you to use it throughout your entire time here at UCF. We'll talk about the assignment that will be due. We're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn profile and then just the importance of networking. Basically, for those of you who were here in the fall, we had you update your resume using the VMOC review. But VMOC has an entire career platform that students have access to. now and again all the way until you graduate. Some of the things that VMOC does is it basically, using machine learning, AI, data science, it just has a plethora of information that it can provide to students, and it's always learning, always building, and providing students with some feedback. For example, instant feedback and scoring when it evaluates something, for example, the resume that you all submitted. It gives you targeted feedback. It doesn't just say, oh, on a score of 1 to 5, your resume was a 3. If it's a 3, then it needs improvement, and it provides you with the feedback for that improvement. And then the other thing that's, I think, super cool about VMOC is that it's available 24/7. I'm learning over the years that you all work sometimes at very strange hours. I get it. I was a student once too. But that's one of the benefits, I think, of this 24/7 accessibility with the VMOC. So for those of you, again, who are in the 1006 course, you upgraded and updated your resume. That was one of your assignments last semester. And what did I tell you all that you need to do every semester with your resume? And that is update it. So hopefully over the break, you did that. But for those of you who haven't gotten around to it yet, just a reminder that VMOC Smart Resume, again, it gives you a resume score. In this case, it's red, yellow, and green are kind of the grades, that you receive. You get this feedback 24/7, real time, and it gives you suggestions for all of the areas that the system basically thinks that your resume could be weak. But one of the really important things that your resume review can do is give feedbacks regarding keywords. And if you give it the job opportunity or the internship opportunity, and it will help make sure that the keywords for that opportunity are in your resume. Otherwise, what happens is the human resources reviewing system don't think your resume is being reviewed by a human. Initially, it's not. And it's very easy for a resume that's really solid to get booted out of the system because it lacks the keywords that connect this resume with this job opportunity. So I think the keyword feature in the resume review is very important. And here are the steps again for accessing VMOC for the resume review. And again, don't ever forget to update your resume every semester. All righty. And today we are going to talk about another feature of VMOC, which is the interview suite. There are 3 main opportunities that are a part of this interview suite. And one of them is regarding the elevator pitch, what I'll talk about in more detail in a minute or two. Another cool thing is something they have that's called mock interview. And again, it's this 24/7 opportunity. So, the night before an interview, your roommates are all asleep, there's nobody to help you. You can at midnight say, I want to conduct a mock interview, and it will ask you questions. There are about over 100 different careers that have questions ready at the get-go regarding what you're going to potentially be asked in an interview scenario. So I think the mock interview is a really cool opportunity for you to just practice. Whenever you need practice, it will record obviously what you're doing and play back so you can look at your body language, see if you sound, I have a strong voice kind of thing. It'll give you some great custom feedback. Then the third opportunity that they provide is for a tailored interview. And that means that you can input questions. And I think that's a neat opportunity in that nowadays the interview is not just, oh, what's your strength? Oh, what's your weakness? You should still be ready for those questions. But nowadays it can get more difficult. They can ask you,
what is one of the best things that you learned through your LC1 and LC2, linear circuits 1 and 2 courses? They could say that to an electrical engineer, or they could give you a little problem, very basic problem to work. The interviews are getting a little bit tougher nowadays. So why are we going to talk about this interview suite, and in particular, why the elevator pitch? Well, the expo is right around the corner, and you've got a semester under your belt. Many of you now have UCF GPAs, and they're good. They're 3.8, 3.9, 4.0s. So you feel charged and ready to just kind of tackle the expo and maybe find yourself an internship. The expo is heading to us on March 10th. It will be held at the Additions Financial Arena. So yeah, that's why we are going to just discuss briefly the elevator pitch. I mean, an elevator pitch, it's not a really tough thing. It needs to be clear, concise, and compelling. It needs to be clear. You need to practice it. You need to practice it. But when you practice it, you need to act as if, oh, I don't have this memorized. This is just me speaking to you. So although you need to practice and you may memorize a few things, you need to come across clearly and naturally. The elevator pitch should be very concise, typically around 30 seconds or so. It's really just kind of a meet and greet, kind of an icebreaker type of thing. Most importantly, though, you want to talk about what you think that your listener needs to hear. And then, if possible, you want to include memorable examples or something I call one-liners. Just anything that they might be able to remember you by. I'm going to give, well, in another slide or two, I'll give you a quick example. But also, if you can clearly get across how you can benefit their company, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to listen to you. So a good elevator pitch includes who you are, all right? As I showed there, it's all about me, 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 me. And I know for some of you, because we've been meeting in the office, I've had a lot of office traffic, which I do love. I need to maybe shorten the time period I spend with students, but it's really been a joy meeting everyone, and I hope helping some people out too throughout this past week especially. But basically, you want to let people know who you are. Hi there, my name is Jackie Sullivan, and I am a freshman environmental engineering major. I am currently getting into my major courses. I'm involved in the Society of Environmental Engineers, where I attend their general board meetings, and I'm also a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers and participate in the Sustainable Solutions competition that's coming up this March. I also have learned from upperclassmen in the environmental engineering field that if you know AutoCAD, it's a very much a benefit to any kind of company that's looking for an intern. And that's really what I'm after today. I'm hoping your company has some internship opportunities. And if you do, I am ready to do AutoCAD or anything that your company may need. I'm available full-time in the summer, and then during the fall or spring semesters, I would be able to work for you part-time. And there you have it. There's an elevator pitch. Is it good? I don't know. I'm not in the VMOC system. If I were, it would give me some feedback. All right. And some of the feedback that you would receive on your elevator pitch, it would kind of be rated, so to speak. It's going to look at your nonverbal body language. You would think I'm Italian. My heritage is Lithuanian, but I talk with my hands. And sometimes that's a problem, that excessive body language, probably not a good thing. How you deliver your speech, how am I delivering the sentences that I'm saying? The confidence that I have when I'm speaking to someone, the VMOC is gonna kind of get a read on that for you as well. And then most importantly, I think, is the content. Are the necessary elements in an interview response there, or an elevator pitch response there? So you have an assignment. It's, again, not going to take you a long, long time, but I just think at your point in your academic career and with the expo coming up, doing an elevator pitch is going to be one more thing to help you and one less thing to worry about when quick opportunities come up. So the assignment will be due about a week from today, Thursday of next week. Upload just a screenshot of you completing one round of the VMOC process. And this screenshot has to include your name in it. So we want the whole screen. We are just looking for this upload. You do not have to, you're not required this time to go through and go all the way to get a green rating, the top rating. I mean, should you? Yes. If you're someone who wants to attend the expo, then yes, you really should keep working on that elevator pitch until you create something that VMOC says, hey, you're going to do a great job. But like I said, for this part, we don't have the bandwidth to kind of go through and grade. And you guys have a lot going on. So again, those that are going to expo, I want you to get up to that green level if possible. But again, we are just looking for that upload.
Introducing Smart Career Acceleration Platform by VMOC. Looking for feedback on your LinkedIn profile? We've got you covered. Meet Aspire, our LinkedIn optimization tool. On your student dashboard, click on the Aspire tab and select Aspire from the drop-down menu. Aspire leverages the power of AI and ML to help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. Unlock your potential with VMOC. Visit vmoc.com/UCF and get started.
All right. We've heard a little bit about the VMOC Aspire and what this system program does is it helps everyone with their LinkedIn account. And I hope all of you have LinkedIn accounts. If not, you will be motivated by the end of these couple slides to get that LinkedIn account up and running and make it as impressive as possible. But what Aspire is going to offer you, basically the same thing that you've seen with the resume review and the VMOC. It's going to look at your entire profile, and it's going to tell you where it thinks you need to improve. It's going to see, where is there maybe a skill gap between your LinkedIn and potentially what you're applying for. It will recommend content and again, help you optimize those keywords. The keywords have to be there or that resume just gets booted by the automated review system. And here are the steps. I will post these slides for you so you have them, but here are the steps for you to get into VMOC and then get your LinkedIn account and your LinkedIn profile reviewed by VMOC. It will provide you, again, with the red zone, yellow zone, green zone, targeted feedback. Your goal is to take that feedback that VMOC provides you and go back into your LinkedIn account and get it up to snuff, right? I mean, you don't want a half-hearted LinkedIn account out there. It really doesn't help you. LinkedIn is definitely right now where students, graduates are finding opportunities. Why is LinkedIn so important? The best thing I can say is what's there on the screen. Your resume is like a flyer that you hand out to one or several people, and LinkedIn is like a giant billboard on the side of the road that, thousands and thousands of people drive by and see. So it's all online, of course, but you get the drift, right? It's LinkedIn is a big deal, and in this online society and in this review format where people are not at the beginning sitting down and looking at your resume, it's important. So let's chat briefly about what you can do to optimize your LinkedIn presence. Keep up to date, review the feedback, be a part of it, be engaged with it. And most importantly, respond to people. LinkedIn doesn't really like to recommend people for things if it feels like, you're just ghosting everybody that they're connecting you with. Work on that about section, which is almost kind of like an elevator pitch, but in words. Use the featured section, meaning what do you want people to know about you first and foremost? And then in the interested feature, you're going to connect with companies that you are interested in. The professional profile picture, I've seen it go both ways, basically. I've seen it where people put a very, very polished, very professional photo. And then I've seen photos where students or, again, recent graduates are engaged in something. If their skill is robotics, for example, it's them working on a robot or demonstrating a robot or something to that effect. So your profile can go either way, but the bottom line is it needs to get across kind of who you are. Again, dressing nicely and looking professional, well, it means you're professional, right? But if you're out there working on that robot or working in a lab somewhere or something like that, that kind of gets across who you are as well, with just a picture. And we know a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Fill out the skills section. Not that you have 100 skills, but it has the capacity to absorb that many skills. You want to put your education, your current status and whatnot, and professional certifications. I've read that you should do this without putting dates there. And that's really because, well, I think that's kind of a more general thing. If you're someone older, you don't really want to have, you're kind of telling someone your age. Remember, the goal is to get the foot in the door. If they're looking for someone much older and you get your foot in the door with your credentials, okay, great. You're young, but you've got what we need. So hey, it's fate that you're here doing the interview. And so I think that could be why they don't include the dates. I do really want to warn everybody, though, this, I've seen students mess up. For example, you're doing your on-ramp, so you're earning your on-ramp certificate in MATLAB. Okay, you cannot portray that on your resume as being certified in MATLAB. That is not what that means. On-ramp is a 2-hour, intro, and you get a certificate saying, yes, I know basically what MATLAB is, and that's kind of where it ends. So be very, very careful not to misrepresent yourself on the resume on LinkedIn, because an interview can go south very quickly if that happens. Let's see, connect now as a student with as many people as possible. A colleague up in Ball State University has come down to UCF before, and she's called the Golden Ticket Professor. Her name is Anna Stumpf, and I want to credit her for this philosophy. But the bottom line is that as a student, you have what we call the golden ticket. You are beloved by everyone. Everyone wants to help the student. Everybody feels good about mentoring and whatnot. So yeah, you've got the golden ticket. So make as many contacts on LinkedIn as you can, because you never know what connection is going to potentially result in a contact or a connection that brings you an internship or a job as a full-time job in the future. But yeah, that's the golden ticket, because when you cross over into a graduate, well, then you become that pesky person that's really just trying to get a full-time job. And that's not a bad thing, but you go from the warm and fuzzy, everybody loves you, to, I don't have a full-time job and I feel really, really bad that I can't help you right now. So yeah, take advantage of being a student. And then be sure there's a feature on there that says open to employment, open to internship. Be sure that that feature is turned on your LinkedIn profile. Want to clarify, updating LinkedIn and submitting it is not an assignment. It's not, okay? Not yet. I'm thinking in the future I'll have my freshmen do this because I think it's very good for them. But it's definitely encouraged, and it can just open so many doors for you if you have this LinkedIn account. So you need to make it the best that it can be. So with regard to networking, I mean, obviously, this online networking that LinkedIn provides is very, very beneficial. In addition to, I want to remind everyone about Handshake. Handshake is, again, students only have access to that. Many times one of my daughters who was looking for a job was like, can you look on Handshake for me? Like, sure, they don't have access. So you do. So be sure to take advantage of Handshake, as well as, of course, in-person events, which again brings me to this flyer to remind you that Night Shadow, it's a 1 day, and you're allowed to apply for 2 days if you want, by the way. I just recently found that out. Just know it is held during spring break, and the deadline to apply is Sunday. Okay, it's this Sunday, so don't miss that opportunity if you're interested in it. This flyer, which of course I'll post for all of you on web courses, and we'll post these slides too, says that basically, okay, here's the application window. You've got to go through Handshake to open it up. And then from the 16th to the 20th of February, they will be matching students to a potential opportunity if there's enough openings and whatnot. And then students, you will have a window in which to accept. So if you didn't get in the first time, don't be so sad, because if someone, their parents make them go on a cruise, oh boo-hoo, during spring break, then they'd have to say no to this night shadow opportunity, and then a place will open up. And so if you're on the wait list, that might be okay. All right, and then regarding the expo, the ultimate in networking, right? You can earn a fast pass if you want early access, meaning they'll open the doors up earlier for you. You won't have to wait in as long a line. And this QR code provides you the career readiness events, but oh dear, here's a flyer that tells you all about the different events you can go to and earn that fast pass. So I encourage everyone to do that as well. All right, well, that's it for me. I do want to remind everybody next week, one of the things that's happening is the big Go for Launch kickoff. It's an opportunity in which you can learn about the big campaign that UCF is having to raise funds and raise money for the university. It's being held from 11 to 1 on Thursday, February 19th next week. I will send you all the flyer in your lecture web course. Please, please, please keep open that lecture web course. In fact, go ahead and set it up where you get kind of an announcement ping when I put anything in there, because if I'm throwing stuff in there, it usually means something's happening and Mrs. Sullivan is trying to get me to either be aware that there's a deadline coming up, or aware that there's an opportunity that's opened up. So please promise me you're going to keep track of your lecture web course announcements.
Hey everyone, in celebration of Valentine's Day this weekend, we decided we would film a fun little segment where we invite some of our own students to share their thoughts on things that they love about UCF. Let's hear from them.
Hi, I'm Sage. I'm a mechanical engineering major. And then a class or topic that I've loved so far, I think, has been CAD, like SolidWorks, and I'm also excited to start learning Onshape. Yeah, I thought it was really, really helpful in last semester's project. I used SolidWorks to do our whole launcher, and hopefully we're going to be able to use SolidWorks or Onshape this semester as well, so I really liked that.
Hi, I'm Alex, currently a computer engineering major. And one class I've loved so far has definitely have to be the engineering class. It's been so much fun being able to build something, collaborate with people, get a little sneak peek into what I'm going to be doing in the future. And definitely the TAs are the ones helping. The one that last semester, and then I have a new one this semester. Anthony has been such a great help. So I definitely say that engineering has been a blast.
Hi, my name is Talia. I'm a freshman. I'm majoring in environmental engineering, and the resource that has been my lifesaver at UCF is office hours. I just started going to office hours this semester. It is so amazing because professors are usually more chill. They're more willing to talk about the content. It's really casual. I was scared that it would be professional and that it would be intimidating, but it was actually really nice, and it's helped me a ton.
Hey, so my name is Nicholas LeBron. I'm an aerospace engineering major, and a support system that's helped me a lot for engineering has been marching nights. So there's a lot of engineers in marching nights, and I've kind of asked them about like their experiences, what they've done. I've asked them for help with like projects for like coding, especially because that's not my strong suit. And so it's just been a really great source. But another great system has been this engineering class with my group last year and this semester. And my TA, Anthony, I've had him for both semesters, and he's been really great both semesters.
Hi, I'm Natalia, and a resource that's been my lifesaver is probably clubs because you get to meet so many more people and everyone has basically taken the same classes as you.
Hi, I'm Nabaya, and the perfect soulmate for me when it comes to a career path would be a civil engineering degree with a structural engineering focus.
Hi, I'm Emery Suggs. I am an industrial engineering major, and my biggest support system throughout engineering would be my girlfriend back at home.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and something that's been a huge support for me this semester has been my family and my friends.
Hi, my name is Chai Sang, but I go by Fortune. I'm a civil engineering major. And the thing that made me fall in love with engineering, and specifically civil engineering, was because I really enjoy physics and I really enjoy urban planning. And I think civil engineering is a great intersection between those two things. And I think it's a great way to help solve some of the world's problems, especially within like urban planning and transportation, which is what I want to do. So I just find it really interesting.
My name is Mustafa and I'm studying electrical engineering. Something that made me fall in love with engineering at UCF is the Intro to Engineering course. I had a really good TA, Bell, last semester, and I have a really good TA, Anthony, this semester. He's great and he really makes the class fun. Also, clubs here. I'm part of Solar Knights Racing. That's a really fun club and it's a really good way to get involved at UCF, and it made me fall in love with engineering.
Hi, my name is Menachem, and what made me fall in love with engineering was Transformers, like the toy line, not the electrical thing. They're just really neat.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn, and my support system at UCF is the Excel program and the people in it.
Hi, my name is Corbin, and I'm majoring in computer engineering, and I chose it because I just love building robots and getting them to work.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm a freshman, and I am majoring in aerospace engineering. And the thing that made me fall in love with engineering was as a kid, when I would go traveling all the time, I really loved watching planes come and go. And I really wondered, man, how do those things work? The same things sometimes applied to cars and other things that move. So I really like things that move and how they work.
Thank you to all the students who were featured in this special segment of our lecture this week. Now let's move on to the GTA Go for Launch segment of this week's lecture to hear from our GTA team.
Hi everyone, we are now on week 5, so we're gonna move our little duck here over to week 5 of classes. So this past week you should have learned a little bit more about power and steering, so all those propellers and your rudders as well. And next week you are going to be working on your hull design. So we're going to be thinking about all the different shapes that you guys can make your boats, and you're going to be able to brainstorm and come up with some fun ideas in your lab next week.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's segment of TA Spotlight. We're going to hear from TA Tristan this week.
Hi, good to see you guys again. Thank you for having me again, Sam. Thank you.
Absolutely. And in particular, this week we saw in lecture about the upcoming career fair and the importance of planning ahead for it. So Tristan, can you tell me about your experience with the career fair here at
Yeah,
UCF?
of course. So I've come to career fair multiple times throughout my years here, through my lineage here at UCF, and I find it a total success. You know, just like everything in life, you get out of it what you put into it. You know, if you don't prepare, you don't do what you should do, you don't look at what you need to do, you don't make an elevator pitch, you don't have a LinkedIn, your resume, obviously not gonna get much out of it, but the more you prepare, the more you're gonna get out of it. And someone like me, like I was able to succeed with me, and I had a great time. I got a lot of stuff out of the career fair, and I attest that to preparing and having a correct LinkedIn and having, you know, headshots, having a resume, preparing my elevator pitch for every company that I want to talk to, and I think that led to my success with the career fair, and I think it can for all of you guys too if you do the right steps.
Absolutely. The prep is 90% of the work.
Absolutely, I agree.
The other 10% is just showing up that day.
100%.
And That's the big emphasis for today. Can you let me know what results you experienced from all that preparation at the career fair? How did it turn out for you?
Yeah, I was able to get a couple offers. I got a couple offers from the career fair. I made tons of connections. So with those connections, I was able to talk to different people, experience different things I never really thought I was gonna do. I talked to some companies I didn't really expect to talk to, but I met some good people, made some connections. I got a couple offers. Can't take all of them, but it's always great to have some different different choices. I really got a lot more than I expected out of it, and a lot of people kind of sleep on it and don't think it's that big. It's a UCF, a huge affiliated to career fair, but if you really put the work into it, you can definitely get a lot out of it.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure. Well, congrats on the offers that you got from them. And I think another good point that you brought up is the fact that you might speak to people that you weren't really anticipating on speaking. I mean, there's so many people there from industry at the career fair. But another thing I want to emphasize, in addition to having your LinkedIn ready, your elevator pitch ready, looking at the list of attendees for the career fair and planning your route out before you visit, the last thing that you want to do is walk up to someone and realize, oh, I'm really interested in applying to them, but I didn't do any research on them. I don't know anything about who they are, what they do, their company culture.
Yeah,
so the prep for that too.
Yeah, right before, a couple days before, I printed out a map of it. I planned out my route. You're not gonna realistically, you're not gonna hit 20 companies, so you have to be more realistic. I picked 5 to 10 companies that I want to talk to. I did research on them. I looked up good questions for me, to relating to what I do, questions that I can relate to them and ask them. Information on the company, recent news on the company. We can talk about recent things that have been going on in the company, recent updates. And I did that, had maybe a 5-minute conversation planned for each company already before I went to them.
Awesome.
And it just helped me lay out a great roadmap for actually talking to them, and it made this conversation go super smooth.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And the last big thing in preparation for the career fair that I wanted to touch on is the importance of an elevator pitch.
Yes.
So can you please go over what an elevator pitch is and what it should consist of?
Yeah, of course. So an elevator pitch is, your initial talk to somebody. It's your initial impression. It's your very first impression. It's think of it, you're in an elevator, right? And you're pitching yourself to this person. You have 30 seconds. You got to go. You got to start now. So your elevator pitch should include a couple important things. You should talk. You should hit, who you are, what you do, what you want to do, and what you can offer to the person that you're giving the pitch to. So those are the 4 very important things you always want to talk about during elevator pitch. If you guys are freshmen, obviously you mentioned you guys are freshmen, you're first-year students. Being a first-year engineering student, being a first-year college student is always a huge thing. That's your #1 thing right now. Getting an education, being in college is a huge benefit. So your name, your year, your major, what you want to do, why you like the company that you're talking to, why are you talking to them? What do you want to do with the company? What you can offer to the company. If you're good at CAD, if you're good at coding, different types of languages, right? All these things are assets to companies that they need and something that you can offer. And so if you're good at different things, you're good at these different disciplines, you can talk about how you're good at that and what you can offer to the company and then what you want to do with the company.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing is making yourself stand out. In these 30 seconds, you're proving why you're a unique applicant and why they should choose you over someone else, essentially. Just getting that introduction done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you develop this elevator pitch, is this sort of a one and done thing where, okay, I have my single elevator pitch, I'm good to go, or is it a bit more dynamic than that?
Yeah, so that's where a lot of people get it wrong is you have to make it dynamic, If you're talking to different companies, you're offering different things to different people. You don't want to give the same pitch you would from a biomedical company to an aerospace company, You're not offering the same things, you're not giving the same things to, each company. So I think a good rule of thumb is to always practice beforehand with somebody else, If you're talking to a recruiter, recruiters are not robots. They're people too, So you want to make sure you sound like a human, you're talking to another human. So practicing with a friend, practicing with, a TA, anybody you can talk to, you can get practice with giving your pitch to is always huge, I think is way more beneficial than just practicing to yourself in the mirror because you're practicing talking to somebody else just like you would be with a recruiter. So talking to somebody else, you tailor your resume, you tailor your elevator pitch to different people. If you're talking to one company, make sure you're not giving the same pitch to somebody else. What if somebody else from another company knows somebody from another company and you sound absolutely robotic and give the exact same pitch of, hey, my friend just talked to you the other day. Oh, really? Yeah, no, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So make sure you sound a little dynamic. Make sure you sound human. You're talking to humans. So make sure you change it up a little bit. You make it. You tailor it for each different company. You tailor your skills to what these company would need.
Yeah, 100%. It's really just this constantly evolving introduction about yourself, and actually also speaking of tailoring resumes, I know we spoke about that in fall for our freshmen, but again, that's not a one and done thing either. That should be constantly evolving.
Yes, your resume should be constantly updating, and especially I would highly recommend tailoring your resume again for each company. If you have multiple things you can add onto your resume, right? Like from your LinkedIn, here's your master resume. You have all these things to pick through, to pick from. Yeah. For each company you're applying to, you can swap in and out different things, different projects, different experiences that tailor to each company and that work better for the role that you're applying for.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So, for all of our freshmen, please keep an eye out for the career fair. This is an absolutely excellent opportunity.
Huge.
You heard it here first.
Yep, absolutely.
So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone, make sure you're prepping for the career fair. And now I'm going to transition over to our club spotlight for this week. We're going to be hearing from Knights Racing.
How you going, guys?
Knights Racing is a student-registered organization here at UCF where we design, build, and validate racing vehicles which are used in competitions all across the country. Ever since I was little, I was a big fan of cars. This eventually led to me being a fan of motorsports and wanting to get involved in the automotive industry. Coming in as a freshman at UCF, I wanted to see what clubs would align with those things, and this is where I found Knights Racing, which has built my passion for engineering and the automotive industry. Engineering courses play a critical role in helping with the design and validation of our design. Using simulations and calculations from our classes, we can make sure our design is sound before manufacturing it and putting it on the car.
You show up to shop and, maybe your buddy brought you or maybe you heard about it at the club, but for the most part, everybody there is strangers. But you'll be very surprised how quickly those strangers turn into friends. You've all got a lot in common already, even if you don't know them. You're all working towards one project. You're all here to learn and become better engineers. And that just naturally leads into relationships that last a lifetime. To build one of these cars, it takes just about every tool you can think of. There's a machine shop where you do high precision stuff. There's chop shop where, low precision, angle grinding, you're hammering, you're drilling stuff. Sometimes we even build things out of wood. The bottom line is, I don't get my hands dirty in calculus, but at shop, I get my hands very dirty. And it's a great feeling, especially when you can see something that you made out on the track racing and going a million miles an hour. It's a rush.
Knights Racing meets every weekday, with Formula typically meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, whereas Baja usually meets Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. These shop nights will typically consist from 6:30 to 10. With these times being a little bit dependent based on when people get out of class and how much work we have to do for the night. Just because I say that these nights are tailored to a specific side of the club doesn't mean that you can only come during one of those sides. If you want to come by whenever you're available, whenever you're free, you'll always find someone to meet and something to do. I can tell you that much. When it comes to how to join, you can either check us out on our Instagram, which is going to be either ucf.formula or ucf.baja. From there, you'll be able to check out our link tree to get more details on how to join the club, which you can also use our website in order to find out these details yourself. Those will give you a sort of access to the kind of papers that we're going to need you to sign through UCF, get you all registered and ready to be in the club. And if you get stuck on any of those steps, we can always have anyone at shop or anyone on the Discord help you out. We're always just a message away. We're always happy to help you. Help us. So no matter your majors or your interests, please come by shop and check us out, because Knights Racing wants you to be a part of our team.
Hey everyone, your GTA team here for some closing announcements. First up, the Great Naval Orange Race logo design competition is going to be due this Sunday. That's the 15th, so make sure you get those designs in. Please look at the announcement that has been posted in your lecture web course for the instructions, and email those designs to me so that they can be considered. Thanks.
Thank you. Scholarships have also opened on access to opportunities, so if you haven't already, make sure you create an account and that you apply to those.
And I know we've been getting questions about when parts are going to be available for you guys to rent. They are currently on their way. We are going to get everything in as soon as possible, but just please be patient with us, and as soon as they are available, we will make sure that you are able to know.